babies. Okay, so today we're going to hit up inner child healing. This is next on the shadow work playlist of shadow work series. All right, so a couple things that we're going to start off with in our inner child healing. It's the quickest and the fastest way to gain your inner child's trust. And that is basically taking care of your basic needs. What do you mean, Ryan? As you separated from your humanity and your sense of self, you inadvertently taught your inner child that they can't trust you with themselves. So they don't fuck with you like that. How do you get your inner child and build that trust? Well, you consistently, as consistent as possible, show them they matter. What does that look like? It looks like taking care of yourself. Example, Saturday is your day to run your errands. About 11 o'clock in the morning, you start getting a little hungry. You got 2 more errands left, and you tell yourself, hey, after these 2 errands, I'm going to feed you. No, the rumbly in your tumbly needs to be fed now. Because if that was a 3-year-old in your back seat, in the car seat, talking about, Mommy, I'm hungry, you would hit a drive-thru for that 3-year-old. Honor yourself that way. You're at home, you're tired from work, you just sat down, the dishes need to be done, you need to start dinner, blah, 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 there's a loaded laundry, but you're tired. Take a quick 20-minute nap. As you honor self, you will build the trust with your inner child, okay? And that first step is really a huge foundation. People are like, oh, you're going to want to journal and connect and visualize. Yeah, that shit comes later. Connecting with your inner child is all about teaching your inner child they can trust you with you again. And that may, again, look like if you're on a phone call that makes you uncomfortable, nobody is saying that you got to set a hard boundary and be like, hey, I don't have the capacity for this today. Because that's like another advanced video in shadow work. We in the beginning stages, nobody's telling you to set hard boundaries this early on, because if we're being honest, that's too hard. But if you told that person, hey, look, my other line is clicking, I gotta go, I'll call you back, and you get off the phone, you just taught your inner child that their uncomfortability matters. Your uncomfortability matters. Now, again, did you just lie a little? Hell yeah, you just lied a little. And do you know why? Because what's important is honoring yourself. Ain't nobody saying that you lying about whether or not you the mom or the dad of somebody baby. You gave people what felt safe enough for you and them in that moment. And you move around. And when you get to advanced shadow work, then you can talk about things like, I don't have the capacity for this. Because fun fact, the people in your life in the beginning stages of your shadow work aren't going to be there for your advanced stages. Because I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning stages of my shadow work, when I said things like, I don't have the capacity for this conversation, I'm really sorry, it's too much, the people in my life were upset. They were offended. They took it personally. And then they made snide, shitty little comments long after I had that conversation with them. The people in my life now, where I'm at now, I literally just told my best friend the other day, hey, I'm having a really bad day. I can't emotionally, energetically, spiritually, there's a shift happening and I don't have the capacity to talk to anybody today. And my best friend was like, all right, girl, if you need me, I'm here. It's cool. And they didn't fucking text me at all. And they didn't call me. And they didn't try to be like, well, what can I do? Nothing but do what I ask. I don't have the capacity to talk to you. So don't talk to me. People who are energetically aligned with you when you get to that space will fucks with that because they will be able to give you that same energy, right? She's definitely said to me, I have to get off the phone. I don't have the capacity for this. And I was like, all right, girl, love you. Bye. I'm here if you need me. And it was over. And I didn't take it personally because it's not about me. It's about their capacity. It's about what's happening spiritually for them, energetically, and mentally for them. I don't take it personally. Okay, boo. If you need me, I'm here. And I'll leave it be. And so that's why it's important to understand that as you're honoring yourself in this beginning stage, a lot of times people tell you to lead with creating boundaries, but you've had a lifetime of not setting boundaries. We asking you that's asking somebody to do quantum physics before you're teaching them basic math of emotional healing. So we're not doing that in these streets. So if you're trying to set a solid foundation, I am the spiritual advisor for you, because I'm all about setting a solid foundation so that personally you're not feeling crappy about telling somebody you don't have the capacity for something, because we'll get there. But anywho, now that we've gotten to a place where we're honoring ourselves and therefore honoring our inner child, and now our inner child is starting to trust us, okay, what's next? Well, you're going to want to give that inner child a visualization, right? Where they're going to manifest visually for you in your brain. So you're going to close your eyes. You're going to picture them in a place that was safe for you as a kid. Does that mean it was always safe? No. I feel like a lot of times I have clients that'll say to me, Ryan, nowhere was safe for me. I fucking totally get that. Nowhere was really safe for me either until certain parts of my life, right? So it could be something like the bathroom for me. It wasn't always a safe space, but it was the one place I could close the door and be safe from my abuser. So, I mean, it's really uncomfortable to meet your inner child in the bathroom, but that's a whole nother topic. It could be the school library. It could be literally on the walk home from school to home is the only safe space you have. That too. So try to meet them somewhere safe and apologize to them for not choosing them, right? Because we're all about accountability here. We're not here to talk to them about why we didn't choose them. We're here to tell them we're sorry that we didn't feed them when they were hungry, that we didn't always protect them, and some of our relationships with our friends and our family and school and work were toxic and hurt them. We're sorry. And from this point on, we're always going to protect them because they matter. That's huge. That's huge. And then you can graduate to, I don't want to say play dates because it's not really the right word, but like checking in on them. So because what you want, the ideal goal here is to take your inner child as something that's triggering you and making you reactive, and into someone who's holding your hand as you walk on this journey, because they can't go away. Inner child healing doesn't mean they go away. They don't grow into your inner angry teenager. I'm not saying we don't have inner angry teenagers, but I need you to understand that the concept of inner child is always there. So once they feel heard and validated and loved and safe, then they walk with you, right? And then what their job essentially is, when you feel those triggers from them, it's not going to trigger you in a way where it makes you shut down, but it's really going to make you honor self. You're going to be like, hey, this feels familiar. My inner child reminded me that this is some shit my dad used to do. I can't talk to you because you're being manipulative. It's a very different space than being triggered and shutting down or overwhelmed or anxious. So it's a really different space to be. Okay? So you're going to start off with taking very good care of yourself, napping when you need to, eating when you need to, drinking when you need to, making sure you have enough water. Then you're going to visualize meeting them in a safe space, apologizing to them for the pain, and not honoring them or loving them, and then promising to protect them because they matter. And know that you shouldn't do that till you're ready, because they will throw a temper tantrum. You thought you got triggered before? Start not honoring self again. They will knock all the shit over. You'll know immediately you're not doing what you're supposed to. Immediately. So then the next thing that I suggest is kind of like, so you're going to want to do a cord cutting for anybody who energetically traumatized your inner child. And this may be a 2-part thing so my cord cutting is, I do a string that's the length of my head to my feet, And then I take the two ends and I tie the knots. And as I tie the knots, I say, I bind the connection to blank to this string. And it's going to be like kind of chaotic. And then as it goes up, and you're going to go as much as you can till you can't go no more, it should turn into kind of like a knot braid. Then you're going to want to safely burn it. And make sure that all the knots burn to ash. So like if it looks like ash, push on it, because knots be sneaky. I had one knot that would not go away. I had to keep her. It took like 20 minutes to get one knot to turn to ash, because that connection doesn't want to go away. Energetically, it's robbing you. So it wants to stay there and keep taking from you. But you deserved freedom. Now, if there is a parental figure that is incorporated into your trauma, you may need energetic healing from like a Reiki healer. But please be careful. I'll do a whole nother video on being careful with Reiki healers. This is like last step shit. So do those steps and then watch my Reiki video, caution video before. Because energetically, a child feels obligated to stay connected to a parent. So you're going to have to do like an exercise with a Reiki healer to go in and help you cut that tie, that energetic tie to that abuser. Okay. So I feel like there's one more thing that I really wanted you guys to do for your inner child healing. Oh, duh, bitch. Also play. Now, does that mean go play hopscotch? No. Do what your inner child would like in the adult version. Some of you, your inner child actually literally wants to play, and it's usually those that were denied any form of play as kids. Coloring, hopscotch, whatever. They'll tell you. You'll feel it. But for most of us, you can take it and translate it and transmute it into something adult. So like, does your inner child want you to go to a bar and get drunk? Probably not. But they may want to socialize because they had really strict parents that never let them out and talk to people and made other people seem bad. So you may be able to go to a bar, lounge or whatever, have one drink because the objective is to go and give you social interaction. Some people, your inner child wants, they were neglected in a way where they weren't allowed to have nice things. They didn't get toys. Does that mean you're going to go out and buy yourself a toy? I mean, if you really want to, you can. But your inner child will probably be way more excited if you just took yourself to the mall and bought yourself a cute top and not worried about the price. But like, I mean, I'm not saying drop $1,000 of your rent money, but like buy the nice top. You'd be surprised as you start to honor yourself how your ancestors and stuff start replenishing things that you convince yourself you shouldn't do. Sometimes your inner child wasn't held enough as a little kid, wasn't hugged enough, wasn't loved on enough. So how do you start to heal that inner child wound? You get massages. You reintroduce yourself to the concept that touch doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be something that you don't like. Now, obviously, if your PTSD says that touch is uncomfortable, I'm not telling you to go get a massage. I am saying for children who were not hugged, essentially they convince themselves that they don't need to be touched and they don't like it. But the reality is they just convince themselves that they didn't like what they didn't have. Same thing about like if you were never allowed to eat treats. Take yourself to a bakery, bitch, and get you a piece of cake. I mean, if you like cake, like pie or whatever. You feel me? You're going to get those kind of things. If all this sounds overwhelming, you're like, Ryan, now I don't even know where to start with all this. That's okay. You can click my link. You can book me. I have an intuitive 1-hour reading. You and I will walk hand in hand through this process. We'll get a game plan from your ancestors. I use my tarot cards. I use my oracle cards. But mostly I just channel your people and they're going to tell you what to work on first, how to get there, right? And like what it's going to look like when you're done. If you're like, Ryan, I'm trying to fast track this, I'm trying to be somewhere completely different by the next nodal shift, I got 18 months to completely rearrange my life, then you're going to want my spiritual excavation. That's a 2-hour intensive. It's intense. I'm going to be pulling back layers. We're going to be crying. You're going to be getting a list of things for a spiritual bath. Then you're going to get a bunch of homework and shit like that. And then we're going to have to do some follow-ups. But it will literally look like, it's an intensive, let's just say that. It's boot camp. It's spiritual boot camp, basically. So I offer both of those services. You're not alone. I'm definitely here for you. And this is Inner Child Healing Beginner's version in my Shadow Work series. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like, give your girl a little comment. I love you. All right, guys.